Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, wet Friday morning. It's going to rain, and then it's light, and then it rains, and then it's light. So that's what we're dealing with on this Friday. I'm Joe Callahan. Let's say good morning to former Cumberland Mayor Bill Murray.
Good morning, Joe. How are you today?
Keep talking while we get you in the camera.
Well,
There you are.
well, you're complaining about the rain, but it's better than snow.
Oh, we're not shoveling it, so yay.
I guess we're, at our stage, that's not fun, but we've had really light winters now
Yes.
for the last couple of years.
We'll take it.
I think everybody will accept that, but yeah, the rain is pretty heavy.
Pretty
down there
intense sometimes.
this morning.
So we're expecting Melissa Murray to be joining us. She's stuck in traffic, coming up 146.
Oh.
We expected Guy Trudell to be here. He has not arrived yet. And we'll have a couple of other, Rich Elaine and Trish Parenta will be joining us at 8:30. So in the meantime, it's me and you, Bill.
Okay.
So we'll start off with thoughts, comments, anything you want to say. First of all, O.J. Simpson passed away yesterday from cancer. When you think about his entire life, what a great football player!
That's the only thing I can say.
Amazing.
That's the only thing. I followed him as a football player, and he was, as you said, and I'm a big football fan, and my kids have played football. I played football. He was outstanding. There's no question about it.
Is he the last person to rush for 2,000 yards in a season?
I don't know it as a fact, but I would not be surprised.
I remember he got like 2,002 yards one year in Buffalo, and now every year it's, can someone get to 1,000 yards? And I said, boy, I remember OJ getting 2,000 yards, and I don't think it'll ever be done again.
Well, the guy I watched quite a bit was Jimmy Brown.
Yeah,
and he was the same kind of style, but he had Simpson had the speed that Brown didn't have.
Yes,
and they both were bulls. I mean, they were strong as oxen.
Mm-hmm.
But OJ had that speed. I watched him when he played in Southern Cal, and
won the Heisman.
Exactly, and he was outstanding. All of us at that age also followed what happened, and that was a sad. That was a sad thing.
Couple of years, yeah.
I mean, I just listening on the radio this morning where they said that that family, the Brown
and the Goldmans,
right. They won millions of dollars in losses
in the civil suit.
They've only had $100,000. $100,000 is all.
Yeah.
But they're the first ones in line, and I was thinking of it coming in this
after
morning.
The
they are
will
the first ones in line when everything
the
is
estate.
But he's got 5 kids.
I know he does.
So do they get cut out of everything and get nothing from Dad?
Possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know if you remember, he was caught up in that big souvenir.
Yes, that was another. That he went to jail for that.
He went to jail, and I don't know the whole details on that.
Yeah.
But the things that I've read said that he had millions of dollars invested in that thing.
Yeah.
That's why, I don't know the whole story, but whatever, he was convicted because he did the wrong thing. But in any case, he had millions. Now, is that money still around? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This segment of Coffee Ann is brought to you by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Visit them online at nrichamber.com. All right, let's see. But I will always remember, Bill, and you probably remember too, it was one of those back in the early 1990s. I was working at McCoy Stadium in the press box.
Yep.
And, we had the game going on in the field, but we had TVs up there that were so we could watch the Red Sox game, and someone said, you got to flip it over onto the news. And to watch that slow speed chase,
I remember it
with the white Bronco going, and it's just, what is going on? It's like, wow. And it lasted all game.
Yep.
I drove home. I was living in West Warwick at the time, and came in. We just had a small child at the time, and here comes the rain again, by the way.
No.
And and my wife did not have the TV on at all. And I said, you won't believe what is going on in California. And I turned on. She's like, what's this? I said, OJ's in the backseat of the car. Well, who's driving? Well, his friend, AC, was driving. And all the cops that were following as he's going about 30 miles an
Right.
hour down the 405. And I was telling my daughter the story because she wasn't born at the time, and how what happened. Well, they pulled into his driveway, and it just kind of stayed there. And of course, it's getting later and later. It's about 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock our time. So it's 7 o'clock their time. Now the sun's setting in California, and everything just it went dark. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, he got out of the car eventually, went to his house. So
Yeah.
it was just such a bizarre, surreal situation.
Well, the other part that was really carried for on and on was the trial.
Oh yeah,
And that was, I heard last night, I was listening to some of the newscasts, and they were telling how Cochran, if you remember that name, was the lead attorney, and how brilliant he was, with the glove and a
Very
few other
brilliant,
things.
yeah.
And of course, a lot of people really, really were upset with the fact that he beat it, and they really believed. There's no question he was the one. He did it. And so he gets acquitted, and it was just unbelievable. But the defense, if you follow the trial, and I did off and on, and the trial was like amazing for the fact that you were riveted to the. It's like going way back now. I'm really dating myself to the McCarthy trials and everything. You were riveted through
Oh,
those
yeah.
trials, and Cochran. I always remember him, and how brilliant he was, and things that they came up with, because most evidence, if I remember it very well,
Was overwhelming.
absolutely pointed to
Yeah.
him. But the way they orchestrated, especially that glove, and now they say that I just read this, that the glove didn't fit,
right.
and Cochran told him not to take his arthritis medicine, so that his hands would swell.
Sure.
And then they also said, because there was so much blood on the glove,
Yeah.
that the glove was like shrunk.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Pretty-
it was
very
just
smart.
It was out of I don't know whether, because I never followed it after that. I wonder if there's any books published that somebody wrote about it. It might be very interesting reading.
Sure. Melissa Murray has joined us. Hello there, Melissa.
Good morning.
Good traffic conditions this morning.
Absolutely horrible.
Well, the
Lots
rain is,
of
rain is rough.
and the wind, and there's some standing water. So
Yeah. Wow.
be careful,
I
everybody.
left Cumberland at 5, so I got plenty of time. I'm only joking. It was bad. There was no question.
Yeah.
So
I remember the OJ verdict
Yeah?
came down because it was October 3rd and it was my birthday.
Oh, wow. How about
yeah, I
that?
was just like, wow, this is kind of crazy. But when I was in school, I went back to school in my 30s, and I got a degree in forensics, and one of my classes was an evidence class, and my professor, I was out in Arizona, and my professor was actually an LAPD officer at that time, and he showed us pictures. He could only show us pictures that had been in the news,
yes.
but when the officers got to the scene, like, they didn't secure the scene.
Yeah.
They walked through the blood,
blood.
and so there were so many footprints that you couldn't tell. They really
Whose was whose, yeah.
botched it up, and it was like a case in like what not to do when you get to the scene of a crime.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, so that really didn't help the case.
And I remember, there was the cop, Furman, didn't the police chief get in trouble as well?
There were 2 or 3 that got
Yeah.
in trouble.
And-
As Melissa said, it was a botched deal.
Yeah.
Really
and
bad.
that was, again, Cochran was
And I remember-
outstanding in using it
Yeah.
to his favor. I just always remember him and how brilliant he was.
And the DA, Marsha Clark, the prosecutor,
That's right.
who was, I thought, handed an easy
Everybody did.
easy verdict, and they screwed it up terribly.
Yeah, they really botched that case.
But people still said, well, how could the jury come back with this? And if you remember, how many times did the judge, Judge Ito, send the jury out? They can't see what we're about to talk about. They can't see the pictures. So
true.
So that's what I always remember. The jury didn't see all the stuff we saw,
But
and so they weren't presented with all the information that we knew. they were just presented with what Marcia Clark came up with and what the defense came up
But
with, and that's why he got acquitted.
But another reason I think
Yeah.
is his reputation. You and I just were talking
Yeah.
about it. He was, he was absolutely an idol of
Yeah.
everybody that are sports fans.
Mm-hmm.
So how many people on the jury? I would assume many of them were great. And it's where did he star? It's Southern Cal.
That's right.
So
yeah.
if you look at that, you don't think that weighed heavily
Yeah,
with the
of course.
jurors?
There's going to
Yeah.
be a bias there, no matter
Well,
what, no matter how hard you try not to be.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Plus, as if they were younger, on the they remember him from his Monday Night Football days,
Oh, yeah.
broadcasting.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did a few movies.
How about his
Commercials.
Commercials
How about the
for
run,
Hertz.
running through the,
Running through the airport.
Jumping over the-
right.
Suitcases.
That still
right.
is in my mind. And,
I know. I remember
Oh no,
that too.
he was a legend, and
Yeah.
and I
First,
think
first movie I saw him in was the Towering Inferno, the fire, and he survives. By the way, he lives through that movie. He's not one of the people that die
well,
in
that's
that.
Right.
Right,
So to think about if someone said, "Oh, Tom Brady killed his wife,"
Oh,
you would be
yeah.
like, "No,
No way.
right, right,
yeah, right. That's a good point.
yeah."
So, okay.
Yeah.
So that was yesterday. The other story yesterday, and Bill, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but Scott Avedisian resigned yesterday. I don't
saw
know
that.
how much interaction you had with him when you were mayor of Cumberland.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, when he was mayor of Warwick.
I'd have to say, even though he was a Republican, I'll have to say that he was a good friend. And I just saw him not more than a month ago, and I think it's sad. You look at it as I know the person. I don't know him, deeply. So I don't know whether he has a problem or doesn't have a problem. I'm got a suspicion he does, and it's sad because Scott was a heck of a mayor for Warwick. I mean, you can, whether he's a Republican or whoever he was, I know I was on a bunch of committees with him, and he had a very good reputation, a very interesting guy, and a guy that was very easy to talk to, And as I said, I just ran into him at the State of the State, the governor, and I hadn't seen him in a while. He had a tough job, the RIPTA job.
Very tough. I wouldn't want it.
Well, I have to say that I got a call from a big lawyer that asked me if I'd be interested while I was mayor of taking that job before Avedisian did.
Wow.
And we discussed it. I didn't know much about it. And I got another call from a good friend, another lawyer, said, "Don't take it. Do not go near it." And
But now it's open again, though.
no, I know, no. As I've told people about, do you want to run for mayor again? The train has left the station.
All right.
In my career, but the thing is, and I know in a long time ago, having the difficulties he had, and he was ran Warwick pretty well, I would think, and I'm saying that his hands were tied on a lot of. The biggest problem with RIPTA is the unions. I think, Melissa, you've dealt with probably through the State House, but the unions, it's very difficult. And so you look at all of
and
that.
it's grossly
sad.
underfunded,
Correct.
and it doesn't pay for itself.
No.
It
And they want
Does.
and they want to hire 30 drivers
They-
within a month.
they need
Or
well,
they're going to start cutting routes.
I know, and I've gotten a lot of emails about concerns about people
Which
who are
routes?
whose routes are going to be cut in North Smithfield, and it's that's the way they commute to work.
Well, Pawtucket, the Caribbean had to go after them because they had 7 or 8 that he saved. Yeah, that's the difficulty. There's no money, and
Yeah,
and what do you
It's
do?
not
And
enough money.
I read something that I don't want to say the figure because I'm not sure of it, of how much money they would need to be able to fund all this, and where are they going to get that?
I don't know. I don't know how
It's
they're
a
going to pay the bus
it's
drivers.
a really tight budget right
No,
now.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, and no matter where you cut, someone's not going to like it.
No.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
whatever you hear, we have to eliminate these 10 routes. Someone's not going to be
So,
happy.
yeah, there's going to be winners and losers.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee Ant program, and more is coming your way. This first portion of Coffee Ant has been sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Visit them online at nrichamber.com.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. I'm Joe Callahan here with former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, and Melissa Murray is here as well. Is anybody hearing any names being kicked around that may take over for RIPTA?
No.
Not yet.
No, nothing
Well,
at all.
No.
Okay.
What I did hear is there's a big move to get somebody with a reputation, meaning, not a former mayor that doesn't, what does he know? I mean,
It was
that-
know
that
about
was one of the
transportation,
things
right?
I didn't know. And when they felt me out, I said, I know nothing about
The
this.
busing,
If you look at it, and it's not the same because it's much bigger. Look at the trouble up in Massachusetts, and I worked up there for 20-something years.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole system is a mess.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You need someone with a
It's
transportation
underfunded,
background,
right,
and
but they
it's hard to find. Who are you going to find? Right?
And to come to Rhode Island.
Right.
I mean, Massachusetts will pay
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're not going to pay somebody like that unless you get some deputy somewhere out of Denver
Yeah.
that will come for the.
It's a step
to
up,
make-
a
to,
little
right to make
prestigious.
to create
name.
a reputation.
Yeah.
That's what they did for the T in Boston. They grabbed that guy out of
They-
New York City.
That's right.
Come-
That's right.
come up here and
but
fix
they can
this.
pay him because of the
Yes.
how big it is. Rhode Island's not that big,
Yeah.
and also people. It was
But it's a pretty good salary, though.
yeah. Well,
They may draw somebody.
it depends how,
Right.
it depends who's going to. But I think that would be the smart move. Bring somebody in with a background that would,
And
because you got different. It might be an opportunity now to look at it differently, and come up with some type of a solution or a pot solution.
okay. So other things, just taking a look around, other things going on in the news, and I didn't think much of it at the time, but apparently it's a real battle down in Providence for this recycling, Rhode Island Recycled Metals that's on Allen's Avenue.
Yes, the one that
went up
caught
in
fire.
flames.
Yeah,
So
this was.
it's a mess.
And now they're saying, at least the owners of the place, it was 8 hours before they put the fire out, or before they got there. It's like, and there's a real fight between that company and the city.
Yeah, because they are operating illegally.
That's what the city claims. There's no permit to run what they're doing,
Right.
and they've ignored a cease and desist order.
That's been an eyesore down there.
Oh, it's so terrible, isn't
Brady,
it?
a guy named Brady, used to have that because the reason I know it, I had my warehouse was down in the shipyard, and I went there for many times. This is going on for years. How bad it was worse, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know the new ownership. I don't know how long they've been there, but it's been a terrible situation.
And a spokesperson for the company says the fire was set.
It wouldn't surprise me.
He says it's arson. Of course, that hasn't been determined yet by
Well, look
fire
where-
marshals.
Look where it is.
It's right on the water.
And it's a shame because it's, that's waterfront and all of that, those chemicals, and it's absolutely disgusting. It could be.
Neighbors
it
have
has.
complained about air pollution coming
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah, and all of these flammable materials. So fire gets started and it's going to burn, and who knows what is going into the air from all those chemicals that are burning.
Yeah.
It's really just really gross. That whole area has the potential to be. It's prime real estate,
could be
right?
stunning.
But
It could be.
it could be,
be.
but it's just a trash heap.
Yeah.
Well,
It's awful.
As I said, that's it.
Awful.
You know, they've tried different things in there, and it could be a gem. You know, it's perfect waterfront.
It'd be a
property.
remediation nightmare, though. I can't even imagine.
Well, you're gonna clear out all the gentlemen's clubs that are down there on Allen's Avenue. There's
Well,
two or
I'm just, but
three,
you have
and
to have
there's other
DEM
stuff.
come in and.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
so-
like
It would be-
it would be so much
Huge.
money.
I'm thinking like builders are just it's
Yeah.
staying away.
It,
It's too much.
yeah.
All right, so the case between that company and the city, they have a case that's pending in Superior Court. So
It's ongoing.
This is going to go on for a while, but it does make you wonder. Did they say, well, we'll get to the fire, eventually? We'll get down there when it gets really out of hand, kind of things. But you
Who
you
knows
never
what was
know.
burning?
You're right. So something you don't expect to see. A woman in Attleboro drove her SUV into the marijuana shop,
I saw that.
Oh my goodness.
sent 3 people to the hospital,
Yeah.
including the
Right
driver.
right through the front,
And the
right
people
into
that
the sales
yeah,
area.
and the people that are just hanging out in the lobby trying to decide what they want to buy, you got hit,
Oh my goodness.
and they had to go to the hospital. The woman, no kid, 62.
She was a steady customer, by the way.
I think
according
so.
To the
I'm-
news,
I'm-
no, according to the news I saw last night, she was a
Just
steady
keep
customer.
well, okay.
Now, the question is, did she have her stuff before she drove through us? I'm only kidding.
Well, that's certainly a possibility,
I just-
Bill.
I-
Was she under any influence?
Yep.
And I'm sure the police. That's going to be one
Well,
of the
they
first
didn't-
questions
of
they
course.
must have asked.
In the report last night, the local news, they didn't say anything about that.
Well, not
but-
yet,
yeah,
anyway.
not yet,
Anyway, but
that was on my mind. And,
but they had to call out the city building inspector of Attleboro, and the building's okay. It's structurally sound.
Okay.
so they
they
can-
had to cut the building. The
do
fire
they?
department cut the part of the building,
Okay.
according to the news report, to get the car out of there. So she was deep in. I mean,
Well, we'll just put up some pieces of plywood, and we'll
Yeah.
be good to go.
yeah. Well, he said the general manager was interviewed, and he said we'll be back in business by Friday night.
Okay.
So-
I'm thinking marijuana shops have such
Yeah.
good security.
Yep.
So no one can break in. So I'm thinking you just can't put up pieces of plywood and
No,
say
no.
we're open for business, kind of thing. You're gonna
But
be a
they
lot
don't
more.
want to lose. They don't want to
stringent.
lose a day, by the way.
Right.
Oh no.
The revenue.
But that, right?
No.
Yeah.
And
Now I've been on this road where it's on Frank Mossberg Drive,
many times myself.
and you will not believe the amount of cars continuously come to this marijuana shop. It's astounding. It's so bad that the other businesses around there have to put up signs.
Don't use
No
yeah.
parking for the
Yeah.
marijuana shop
They're all-
here.
Yeah.
They're all like that. Seekonk, you remember the problem they had in Seekonk? Same
Yeah.
thing.
I don't
They-
see it too.
they had-
I don't see it too bad in Blackstone.
I haven't heard it.
There's a couple of shops there, but I saw this from my own eyes in Attleboro. The
Mm-hmm.
continuous car on every day. They just keep coming, leave. More cars just keep coming in, and a lot from Rhode Island. This
Yeah.
is before Rhode Island
Oh,
they
sure.
did
Yeah,
anything about
yeah.
it. So they just kept on
surprise.
coming. So they must have been surprised when the car came through.
What's that called? One-stop shopping?
Yes, yeah, there you go.
The driver.
What, like
Why
what?
not have the driver?
What would cause you to just gun it like
Well,
and
like
not?
they,
Yeah.
like they
Well, you
always
know, if
say,
you had a.
I missed the brake and I hit the gas.
I'm
I'm looking at her age. Sorry, Bill. 62.
She's a lot younger than
And,
I
tha-
am.
and that,
so,
but that's what they always. That's what you hear them say
Yeah,
when
I
they're
know, I
when
know.
they're over 60. Oh, I made a mistake and I hit the
Well, look-
gas instead of the brake.
Look at that serious accident in Smithfield, Apple Valley Mall.
62 is not old. It's like.
No.
It's
I
not like
know.
the person was like, 92
I
and said
know.
I hit the.
Thank you.
I mean,
But look,
I don't know. I've
look
not
for her-
ever had that happen. So
Look for her to say that.
okay.
I hit the gas instead of the brake.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's it's a normal.
I'm sure that's what
I don't
her
know how
lawyer
you-
is telling her.
I don't know. How, yeah. Well, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I don't know how you do that
No.
either.
Unless you
But that's
don't
what
put the
lawyers say.
if you park it and don't put the car in park and try to get out of the car might jolt forward.
But all these.
Not
But
like that.
But not at that
But
speed.
no, all
So,
these
but-
cars now. You
Yeah.
can't even.
You can't even- you back up and it
can't-
tells
no,
you if
it's
there's
buzzing, everything
something
is buzzing,
right,
and
I know.
Yeah.
you got to be a. Well, I don't want to say.
But she hit it.
Because-
She hit it with some force because she's as the
Yeah.
driver. She went to the hospital with minor
Yeah,
and
yeah.
unspecified injuries. They said so.
Well,
Who knows if it could have been a medical
I was just-
Maybe it was
yeah, I
an
think
emergency.
that's
Give her
it.
the benefit of the doubt,
let's give her
right?
the benefit.
Yeah, the only thing I ever did was because I drove a stick shift for so long, is I would step on the imaginary clutch that wasn't there anymore when I got an automatic, but like never,
Yeah, no, it's
gas or
I think
a brake.
it's hard.
Yeah,
I know my kids. I travel a lot to see the grandkids during the weekends for hockey or sports or anything, and my kids will say, "Dad, you shouldn't be driving as much." I said, I've been driving for many, many years, and I'm fine."
right.
Last fall, I drove to New York in one day, drove down and came back because I didn't want to stay in New York. So,
All right. I remember my daughter had just gotten her license. I think she had it for 2 weeks, and she said, I'm such a great driver. And I said, okay, I love the confidence.
yeah.
Your mother and I have been driving for 40 years.
Yep.
We are great drivers.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
You have just started. You're okay right now. You're a long way from great. But I like the confidence.
Yeah.
And keep it up.
Yeah.
And be, don't get crashed. And then we'll talk in a few years about being great.
Yeah, yeah.
Not great right now. All right. So I know this is in Massachusetts, but do you think the sale of Steward Healthcare is going to go through in Massachusetts? They want to sell to Optum Care, which is a subsidiary of United Healthcare. However, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren doesn't like the idea of it being sold, and neither does the House Speaker of Massachusetts. So I just wonder if they'll gather more people to oppose this sale.
Well,
And Stewart's in rough shape.
I'm on the Blue Cross Blue Shield Rhode Island board, and it's been a topic of conversation. It's a very complicated situation, and probably the biggest problem is what's going to happen if it doesn't go through.
Yeah.
That's the key. And can they kind of work everything for protection? In other words, Mass sets out the criterias and whatnot. Can that be done? Because if it doesn't go through again, what's the next step? Next step is closing it completely.
Bankruptcy and close
what do
every-
you- and
all-
then what do
close
they
all
do?
9
Yeah, what
hospitals
do you do?
down?
Yeah,
Can't do
exactly.
that.
So that we've had that major discussion at
Yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield that this is very complicated, and
Unfortunately, I don't know what Elizabeth Warren's opposition is to this sale.
with her, who knows?
Probably because, it's just like one company getting bigger and bigger and owning everything and having a
Well-
monopoly. But at the same time, you have to worry about people's access to care, right? I mean, you
But in
cannot close
Mass-
down.
In Mass, you got Blue Cross in Mass. There's United, which is part of this. There's
Yep.
there's Tufts. There's there's others. Fallon's another. There's another one. So they're not really getting a monopoly in Mass. Although, yeah, they're getting a little bigger. But that's what businesses do.
It's the reputation of the company, which is, I think,
Is United got a bad reputation?
No, well, that's usually has it. I was involved very strongly here in Woonsocket with Landmark when back in 2016, and the mayor Baldelli Hunt called all the mayors to support her. We came in and to help. You remember it was going to be sold to a private entity, and we went in to support her and Woonsocket about it. I remember that distinctly, and that was really based on the reputation. I want to say Prime, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
California,
Prime.
am I right?
Well,
on
Prime,
that?
Yes.
Prime bought them.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there was a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yeah,
on
there
that
was.
one. Big, very big. And again, as you go back to it, if you don't do it, what happens?
Yeah.
The alternative is not good because right now you don't have enough places to move, and so it's.
And I think United Optum Care was the only company that came forward to
There's not
to
many
buy
out there with
that kind of money.
exactly.
Yeah,
They
right,
should
do it.
right.
That's why I said.
What do you do?
Yeah, the alternative is not good.
Right. Rich Landis has joined us at the coffee and table. Good morning to you there, Rich.
Good morning, good morning.
Nice to have
morning,
you here with
Rich.
us.
Morning.
We'll be talking about what's
Good.
going on at the Post coming up in just a little bit, but right now it is time for a look at the weather forecast. And I'm going to take
I think
my
it's
paper
raining,
here.
Joe.
Is it raining?
Yeah, I think
Pretty windy too, as a matter of fact.
Very
Thanks,
windy.
You don't have to look.
All
My
right.
umbrella almost went inside out.
Weather forecast is being brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Today, showers and possibly a thunderstorm throughout the day. High temperature will be near 62. There'll be a south wind, 13 to 17 miles per hour. Wind gust as high as 45 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low temperature around 46. Southwest wind, 5 to 7 miles per hour. Wind gust as high as 25 miles per hour. Saturday's weather, mostly cloudy with a high temperature near 54. Continued windy, west wind 11 to 15 miles per hour. Wind gust as high as 28 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly cloudy, low around 41. Continued windy, west wind 11 to 14 miles per hour. Wind gust as high as 24 miles per hour. Sunday, mostly sunny, high near 61. Monday, sunny, and a high near 64. Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street. Clouds, wind, light rain at the moment. That could change at any moment. 57 degrees. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
In a world where good food, friendly faces, and unforgettable memories collide, there's one place that stands out from the rest. Gators Pub is proudly celebrating 35 years of excellence in North Smithfield. Join us at Gators Pub, where every visit feels like coming home. Our secret to success? It's simple. Our super friendly staff and mouth-watering dishes prepared fresh daily by our talented chefs. Sink your teeth into our delectable lunch specials from Monday through Thursday and savor complimentary soup to warm your soul. Enjoy the game day excitement with multiple TVs showing the Boston Red Sox while indulging in classic appetizers like our famous potato skins and pita chips. Looking for a lively atmosphere to watch volleyball games? Look no further. Pair it with our juicy burgers or the latest cocktail creations to elevate your experience. Gators Pub, your ultimate destination for good times and great food. Come and celebrate with us at Gators Pub on Route 102, just a mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Make every moment memorable at Gators Pub, where good friends and great flavors meet. Remember, there are no strangers at Gators Pub, just good friends you haven't met yet.
Preventative care is the hallmark of a good dental program, and Dr. Jeffrey Dodge takes a high priority on patient care as well as patient education by taking the time to listen and answer questions. You'll never feel rushed. Dr. Dodge also offers restorative care, including fillings, crowns, and bridges. They feature an in-house laboratory, making it easy and convenient for the patient. Check their website for more information about their caring philosophy and to learn more about dental updates and new technology. drjedodge.com. Dr. Jeffrey Dodge, your family dentist at 1438 Park Avenue, Park Square, 762-3044.
Think about the things you're thankful for, and you'll probably think of your home, family, good friends, and a great auto mechanic. Yes, a great auto mechanic can be a real comfort in your life. That's why so many people take their cars to Henry's Auto Repair on Park Avenue in Woonsocket. In fact, so many people trust Henry's that Henry's won 3 gold medals and 2 silver medals in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley contest. Why don't you join them? For inspections, oil changes, brakes and tires, comprehensive repairs, or preventative maintenance, it's the award-winning Henry's Auto Repair, 1068 Park Avenue in Woonsocket.
Hi, this is Bill from Henry's Auto Repair. I'd like to say thanks to all our supporters and customers for voting us best in the Blackstone Valley.
This portion of Coffee In is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
It's Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Bill Murray, Melissa Murray, and Rich Elaine is with us. Trish Parento, who was going to join us, that Rich was bringing in, could not make it in today. She's not feeling well, huh? Rich?
No, she's not. But real quick, I'll just mention her organization, which is called Boobification here in Woonsocket. They've been going at it for around 10 years now. And Trish had breast cancer. And I guess what they do, and I'm not an expert on it, but I guess what they do is it's called healing through ink.
Yep.
And if a lady has for cancer, breast removal, they just try to bring them back psychologically and emotionally. And they got all sorts of tattoo artists that
Cover up the scars.
Cover the scars and
Yeah.
everything. And I mean, she just does.
Great idea.
Trish just does a phenomenal job, and we're going to partner up with her. Well, she's been coming to the American Legion Post 85 for quite a while now and doing some of her fundraising activities down there during the year. So had a couple of conversations with her, and we're going to try to team up with her to do some joint ventures, let's say, and try to get the word out there. She's an advocate not only for her organization, but really, I mean, for anything to do in this city that's going to help somebody. She's really been there for the veterans also. So, I'm real excited to bring her in here and have her tell her story. And, Trish, if you're listening out there, I hope you're feeling better.
All right. We'll try to have her in, sometime soon as
Absolutely.
well. What's great about the organization is if women want to have this done, it's free to them.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
is.
Trish would hook them up with different tattoo artists to get this done.
Yeah, she actually, she was telling me the other day, she's actually had people from Maine, ladies from Maine here about the organization. So, I mean, the word is getting out there.
Yeah.
I just think, just having some more exposure is really going to help them a lot. So, like I said, Trish, if you're out there, we're going to get you in here and, just looking forward to working with you and making your organization very successful.
All right.
I think it's great though that it's not just about the scar cover up and the tattoo and the beautification. She also focuses a lot on mental health, and so she'll take in cancer survivor. They'll get tattooed, but also she'll do a spa day or a mental health awareness just to
Make them feel good.
Yeah, because you need you need that emotional healing as well when you're a cancer survivor. So it's not just the physical, it's the emotional and the mental too, which I think is great.
All right, Bill, national championship for hockey, college hockey is tomorrow.
I watched Boston College last night. I didn't
Boston
see the first game. BU
lost in overtime.
Yeah, it was a tough loss.
to Denver.
BU was, but I'm going to tell you something. And you know me, I've been involved in hockey for a long time, and BC has a freshman line that is outstanding. Well, Smith scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
And then the kid Gauthier, is it Gauthier pronounced?
Or is it Goodrow?
He's not on that line. He's a senior, but his dad played with my son up at University of Lowell.
Oh. Great.
And but he had an outstanding goal. Michigan, it was a tough game at the beginning, but then BC is just powerful. And I don't know much about Denver, but I think you're going to see quite a game. Yes, absolutely. And as I said, to beat BU, BU had a good club this year. In fact, one of their kids, I can't remember his name, will probably win the Hobie Baker. They were saying that last night. But what a game. And I've watched a lot of hockey. This was up and down and tough. And
we wanted BU versus BC for the national championship.
That would have been beautiful. That would have been beautiful.
But go Eagles.
Yeah, they have quite. But this freshman line is just outstanding.
All right.
And
so, Rich, what's new? What's going on with the Post?
Well, of course, like I announced last week, we're into our season of Purple Up for the month of April. And once again, from those of you out there listening that don't know what Purple Up is all about, it is designated in 1986 by the former Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger that and the president, I think, 86, it would have been Reagan. I think back then,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Reagan,
but they said April would be the month of the military child, so we should take all the colors in the in the military, all the colors of each branch of service, and like blend them all together. It comes out in a purplish type of hue, from what I'm told. So that's why it's called Purple Up. And what we do all over the country, and especially down at American Legion Post 85 here in Woonsocket, is the auxiliary puts together a bunch of fundraising activities, and every dime that they make in donations, every dime stays in the state of Rhode Island to help active duty personnel's military children attend all sorts of different types of summer programs. And we also take some of that money from the post, and that if they have anything down at the National Guard headquarters, Camp Fogarty, whatever they do down there for the children, we try to take money out of those funds and help them out too. So it all, like I said, it all goes towards military kids. But one of the activities that's going on in Matter is tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, which is April 13th, we will be down at Foolproof Brewery in Pawtucket from 3 to 7 p.m. There'll be some raffles down there. We'll actually have that Centennial Boston Bruins jersey down there that's signed by the team inside of the Spoke B. We'll have that up there. We'll be selling raffle tickets for that. And like I said, that's Foolproof Brewery tomorrow afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. And we'll just have all sorts of fun. And if you want to meet a bunch of the people that are with the auxiliary, I know I'm going to be down there. The commander of the post, Bob LaForte, he'll be down there. So just come on down to Foolproof, say hi, introduce yourself, and any questions you have about the things we do down at the post, we're more than happy to answer them for you. Also on April 20th, which is 1 week from, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
1 week from Saturday, 1 week from tomorrow.
Correct.
They're going to have a comedy night dinner at the post down here at 870 River Street. And the dinner is at 6 p.m. and the comedy show is at 7, and it's only $20 a ticket. So, I mean, where do you get a better deal than that? But come down, have a dinner, and then see a comedy show.
What's the dinner?
I don't know what the dinner is. Nobody tells me all this stuff. They just tell you we're gonna put a
$20
for $20. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dinner and a show for $20.
That's right.
Just eat it, Bill, and
That's
be
a
quiet.
pretty good deal. Right?
Yeah. But I'll be here.
Well, I thought if they said prime rib, I think,
no.
you're really going to crowd it.
Well, I will be. And if somebody out there is listening that wants to call in to the station that knows what the dinner is, please do that. But I'll have that information next Friday. And on April the 27th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, is the closeout dinner for Purple Up at Post 85. It's a spaghetti dinner. We're going to have live music and raffles from 4 to 9 p.m., and that's only $10 a head. So come down, eat your fill of pasta on April 27th, listen to some good music, raffles, and like I said, what better thing to do than to donate some money to the children of active duty military personnel and help them enjoy a good summer. And I'll tell you, here's what a lot of people out there don't realize, that if you've got an active duty personnel in the military, and let's say they decide to stay for an entire career of 20 years, during that 20-year period, that active duty person could move around 3 or 4 times. Now, if you've got a little kid, you know, if they have a little kid, that kid goes through it too.
Yeah.
You know, you got new friends, maybe a new country. You know, because you're at the whim of the military when you're in there. I mean, you sign that piece of paper to serve, and your family follows right along with you. So, you know, if you really want to help out, like I said, you can look on the website for. All you got to do is Google American Legion Post 85 Woonsocket. It'll take you to the auxiliary page. It'll take you to the Post web page, and I think the radio station, your events here at WOON,
Yep,
all
our
this stuff
events
is all
page,
the
so.
on the events page too. So there's no reason to sit back and say, "Oh, gee, I didn't know that was happening." No, please do. Please come out and support this great cause.
Very good. You all set there?
Yeah, well, you know, just for later on, just so people know what's going on. Like, I'm getting into like later on during the summertime and stuff
okay.
too. But we got like Country Fest coming up there. We got a real good country band coming up there. And one thing I'm really excited about that's going to take place, I believe it's August. We got that Cajun Day coming up, Cajun Fest, and we got Magnolia that Cajun band that's been around Rhode Island. It's got to be 30 years now. Magnolia's been around. They've cut a couple of CDs, and they're just awesome. So just keep your eye out for that, and I'll be coming in and making the announcements on that as the time gets closer.
When the pro wrestling comes back, remember, you and I, tag team, we got to get back in there.
You know what?
We did so well last year.
We're kind of
Would you
wondering.
let me know when that happens? Because I want to, because Joe played baseball for me years ago.
Really?
And I want to see him wrestling. That's it.
Well, you know, Jim Allen, the promoter, now he posted on Facebook the other day. So I'm not telling stories out of school here, but he's taking his whole kit and caboodle with everything down to Florida. He's moving down to Florida. So I don't know if some of the dates have, you know, I've got to talk to the commander and the entertainment person up at Post 85, find out what's going on there. But there's a possibility that the New World Wrestling Extreme might not be performing too many shows around here. But I'll try to get some more information about that and pass it on.
Well, please let me know.
Yeah. But Joe
I'll pay double.
Joe and I
You'll
will.
have to feed me.
Joe and I can wrestle for. Joe, let's find a good a good thing to donate to here, and you and me will put on the leotards and we'll go at it. You know,
very good.
Put a little Jello in there. And
That'll be a treat.
All right. Gonna take a break here on the Coffee Ant program. More coming up. This segment of Coffee Ant's been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
When you visit the Menard Locature Funeral Home's website, you'll find a wealth of important information, including frequently asked questions about the various options of pre-planning funeral etiquette, visitation, personal help to help the family, and many others. Remember, pre-planning is safe and helpful to family members who may be overwhelmed with details and responsibilities. It also assures that the deceased's final wishes are met. Their website will also feature several photos of their 2 beautiful and classic funeral homes at 127 Carrington Avenue, Woonsocket, and 71 Central Street, Manville. You'll be treated with courtesy and understanding. Their main phone number is 762-1825. Menard Locature Funeral Homes.
The St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center presents the 14th annual Breakfast with the Saints on Sunday, April 28th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Enjoy a delicious breakfast buffet under the magnificent frescoes of the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door and are available at Beatles Flowers, Creative Impressions, The Honey Shop, Timeless Antiques, Vos True Value Hardware. Visit the St. Anne Arts and Cultural Center website, or to reserve a table, call 401-486-9380.
It is Coffee Ant here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray. Melissa Murray's here as well. No relation, right? No relation?
No, not that we know.
Oh, okay, not that you know of.
Not that we know of,
Yeah,
but
well,
you know.
Rich
might
Lane is here,
check.
too. We did get a note that was called in, 766-1240, on a completely different subject, the Boston Red Sox. Let's go back on the road. They're 0-3 at home. The infield, I don't think they mean the physical infield. I mean the infield players. The infield's atrocious. Every ground ball is an adventure. Absolutely right. It's just...
Well, maybe they can play Oakland another 10
Again,
times.
that would be all right. So, yeah, things in... I'm glad Baltimore's out. And
good
LA
club.
is back.
They're a
Baltimore,
good club.
They are very good. Very talented.
And my
Strong
Yankees,
hitters.
too,
And strong...
you got to recognize that.
Oh, they're doing well as well. So I like when... I always find it funny, I think, when a story like this pops up. The Spearmint Rhino Strip Club is suing their competitor. This is out in Vegas, by the way. There's the Spearmint Rhino Club, and then there's the Peppermint Hippo Club. And Spearmint is suing Peppermint. Spearmint Rhino filed a complaint in U.S. District Court in Nevada saying the Peppermint Hippo name infringes on its trademark because the names are, quote, confusingly similar, unquote. Spearmint Rhino has been in business since 1992. Peppermint Hippo opened its location in Las Vegas just 2 years ago.
Oh,
And the
infringing.
and the peppermint is named after a fictitious strip club in the TV series South Park. I've seen South Park. I don't remember them ever bringing this up, but anyway.
Peppermint hippo.
No, the hippo one is the strip club in the TV series.
Okay.
So they named it after that.
You sure it's not peppermint that was in New York during the 50s?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, but both
That wasn't a strip club, by the
No,
way.
all
I
right.
just want to make it clear.
both club names are registered trademarks, so that's not what they're getting sued about. It's just you sound like us, and we don't want you to sound like us. Pick another name. We'll see where this goes. I just find it.
I'm
funny when Strip clubs
confused.
fight each other. What are you confused about, Rich?
I don't know. This is just
In general.
just in general.
I just made my day to know that this is a lawsuit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there you go.
Gee,
So,
What
Bill,
else is new?
you worked out of you worked in New York City, right?
I
For-
did.
for a while.
Unfortunately. Well, yes, I did.
New York City is considering rodent birth control.
Yeah, read
in
about
its
this.
continuing war on rats.
Oh, my
It's-
God.
it's out of control.
Oh, yeah.
In New York City, the New York Times reports
Is that actual rats or the people that are there?
Yeah, the four-legged
Oh,
animals.
excuse me. I don't mean that. I shouldn't have said that. I only know New York, and
All right.
I have a brother that it's so bad in New York now, New York City. My brother's lived there for years, and he won't even go into the city.
Yeah.
And I used to travel the subway.
Not because of the rats; it's because of other things going on. In the
Well,
city?
just in New York City is just.
Oh, just bad,
and,
okay.
and look at if you look it up, the data of people leaving New York now
Yeah.
in droves. They can't even get. The funny thing about it, I was reading this a couple of months ago. You can't even get a U-Haul. There's no U-Haulets available because they've used so many to move out.
to move
Yeah,
out.
yeah, and they're in
It's
other
a
states,
shame.
yeah.
It's really.
Well,
I mean, subways alone. When I used that for years, both my wife and I. That's where you travel to get because
Yep.
I work down on Wall Street and it is so dangerous now. And
Well, the
it's-
New York Times reports the New York City Council is introducing legislation
And
that
that's-
calls for the distribution of salty pellets
Oh,
that sterilize both the male and the female rats.
oh boy.
2 neighborhoods would be targeted as a pilot program, see if it actually works. The city has unsuccessfully tried similar methods in the past, but wants to give it another shot due to improvements in the city's handling of garbage as well as advancement in rat contraceptive. Glad to see there's been good
Well,
advancement.
maybe if they collected the garbage.
Yeah, that would-
go a
that-
long
that would
way.
help.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So how do you? So I read about this. Somebody sent me this article because I have a bill on rodenticides in here,
Yeah.
not having to do with rodent contraception, but poisons. So this came about because there was an owl.
Yes,
there was like a
in Central Park.
beloved owl
In Central Park.
who escaped, who was in Central Park. I forget his name.
Flacco or Flaco?
Flaco.
Flaco.
So people loved him. He lived in the park,
Yeah.
and of course, owls eat rodents. But because of the chemicals,
insecticides, yeah.
the rodenticides that they're
Yeah.
using that are like
Very powerful.
they're really really heavy.
It killed the owl.
It killed the owl
Because it ate the rat.
well, that's part of like what my bill is about. Like,
Yeah.
look, you have to control rodent population around food,
Mm-hmm.
around like grains and breweries and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. But these like really high powered pesticides that are super dangerous will kill the rodents, but they stay in
the
the
body.
blood. They basically, it's a coagulant. It's a really horrible way to go, but it stays in the body for a long time. So if birds of prey or your cat or your dog
Oh, yeah.
that's-
or a child, comes into contact with this,
They can get
it's
sick.
bad
Serious,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
right? These are like they're called like level 2,
Yeah.
like rodenticides. So they're really not good to have out there. In certain cases, yes, but they need
Well,
to
that's
be
what the city of New York, they
you
want
can't just have it everywhere.
they want
right?
the salty pellets to work because they want to cut down on the rat poison.
because you
because
don't
it's-
want poison everywhere.
Because it killed the owl in
Well,
Central
yeah,
Park.
but it kills domestic animals too, and it's
Yeah.
it's bad for kids. But I did read about their salty fat pellets, and they're basically like irresistible to rats, and so they've
It is? Okay.
yeah. because they can't. They're like, oh, it's salty and it's like high calorie and it's fatty. It'd be like, better than pizza. and they eat the pellets and then they get sterilized.
All right.
So I don't know if it's gonna work.
Nothing seems to work down there. They try so many things.
Well, rats
They're all-
populate so
they're all-
quickly.
they're all
Rodents can start breeding. Rats and mice can start breeding when they're like 8 weeks old, and then they can have litters every 4 weeks, and they can have up to like 12 average litters. So like
Is someone
when you
multiplying this out for us?
right. So like in a year, boom.
Yeah,
they're-
bang.
So hopefully it works.
So this is another story here, Melissa. This is funny because we play the old time radio when radio was, and the story yesterday was about knocking over an armored car, and so the story was from 1950s. Or 40s.
Earlier. 40s,
People are
maybe 1938. Yeah.
People are still holding up armored cars.
Yeah.
So this happened out in California. A $30 million robbery at an armored truck depot may have been an inside job, just like the story
Just like
from
the
yesterday.
story from yesterday, except I think it was $40,000
Yeah,
of the
that's
story
right.
yesterday. They're like
Well,
$40,000.
That's a lot of money. Yeah,
I think
now it's up to $30 million.
think most
It's $30 million.
lately most of those are in-house type
Inside jobs.
Yeah, it's
inside jobs.
right.
Yeah.
The LAPD says the thieves who pulled off the heist in broad daylight on March 31st entered the building through the roof. LAPD Chief Dominic Choi says there was no obvious signs of forced entry into the vault where the money was stored. That means whoever did it knew how to open the vault, or it was already unlocked when the thieves got there.
Yeah.
The building is owned by a private security firm, Garda World. They've got trucks around here, which provides armored truck cash pickup services to retail businesses in Southern California. $30 million.
Yeah.
That's
80
a
years
heist.
later, it's still
It
happening.
is. We can still write movies about it.
But in L.A., if they get caught, they'll be out on the street within the next hour. So what's the difference?
So no big deal.
No,
You can
they're not afraid.
just-
They're going back to New York. The same problem in New York,
yeah.
and they're out in the street immediately. And why
I've
not
heard
continue?
that, and this is mostly from migrants in.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're down in Florida, but they go up to New York
sure.
to do the crimes and go back. You don't do it in Florida because you get prosecuted in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
You go to New York
Well,
because
it's Sanctuary City.
there's no problem.
No, the Sanctuary City, they know where to go and
Yeah.
what to do, and then look at that one when they beat the cop up.
Yeah, that was
They
New York.
headed to Arizona, but the problem was they picked the wrong place and they got arrested in Arizona. But it's out of hand. It really is. It's a shame.
So the CDC, on a different subject, the CDC is warning because they're investigating fake Botox injections.
Oh.
Oh,
Who knows what's in it? The CDC spokesperson told The Hill, which is a newspaper, the injections were administered in non-medical settings. The source isn't yet known. The CDC is working with Tennessee and Illinois health departments where illnesses have been reported several times.
I heard
From
about
the
this too.
Botox.
Yeah.
Do you know what's in what they're being injected with?
Sometimes it's like oil or like even just who knows what. First of all, I don't think I would want to put botulism in my face, but apparently it works well for migraines, which is okay.
Yes.
But these substances, like they get like hard, or they can cause real big problems. So like you just don't go off the street, walk in a place and be like, oh yeah, cheap Botox. Like
I know.
probably not a good idea.
Scary, huh?
Scary.
Now, I don't know if Bill or Rich are going to know about this. Maybe Melissa knows about this. Have you ever heard of this game that's played by high school students called Senior Assassin?
No.
Or is this a Massachusetts thing?
No, I've heard about it.
Senior Assassin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's played by the senior class. If you want to be part of it, you throw $5 in, and you do it by teams, and the team can win, I don't know, $100 or $200, depending on how many people play.
Right.
And the way the game is played is you go around with a water pistol, shooting other players. And what I asked my daughter, who did not participate in this, I said, well, how do you know you've shot somebody? Because it's just water. Well, you got to film while you're shooting. at the same time, and that way you can post, no, I hit Melissa. See, here's my video proof. So now you're out of the game, and that's how it works. The problem is the kids are taking it way too seriously, and there was an issue in Mansfield where a woman, a senior, a girl really, was being chased by other members from another team in a car. And she, not that she lost control, but she wasn't really paying attention because she was worried about the cars behind her. She crashed into a parked truck.
Oh, boy.
Now, she's okay because she was basically in a very large SUV, too. It's the truck that got most of the damage. And so the school had to come out and the police had to come out because the police have to deal with this every spring because parents call because there's people hiding in my bushes.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting to attack the other kid, and the parents don't know what's going on.
We talked about this last year.
Now they have a gun in the.
Well, it's a water pistol.
A water pistol.
doesn't
Or a
matter.
water thing, but yes.
Exactly.
Nowadays, if you make a finger gesture like it's a gun, you're in trouble.
So
I can't believe that would go. Yeah.
So the school had to come out yesterday and said, this is not a school-sanctioned event in any way. It's called Senior Assassin because the senior class plays it. But now the police had to come out and say, no more of this, at least this year. We're putting a stop to it. And whoever collected all the money, I don't know if it was a teacher or someone at the school collected this. They had to come out and say, okay, we're donating all the money. No one wins, and we're donating the money to the police department.
Oh, wow.
So,
My father would have cracked me across the side of the head so hard. That's what's missing today. Control your kids out there, for crying out loud. No wonder they're growing up doing all this stupid stuff.
well, that's it. Parents are seeing, people are hiding in their back. They're hopping over fences, hiding in your backyard. Well, what are the parents going to think? Someone's trying to break in.
My 13 and 16-year-old granddaughters, you know where they were a week ago on the 29th? My two granddaughters were sitting at the when the Vietnam veterans did the radio show. They were sitting there listening to the Vietnam veterans and got an education. That's what you should be doing. I'm no expert, but that's what we should be doing with kids out there.
Talk to your 16-year-old. She's not a senior yet. But ask her about this if it's played at her.
I will.
High school
She would say if it is, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Just stay away from it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, they take it too seriously.
Right, they took it too seriously. But you never hid in a neighbor's bushes when you were a kid,
Not with
playing in the neighborhood.
Not with a fake gun.
Not with a fake gun. No, right. But
I guess I say I have to because we used to throw snowballs at cars.
Right, which is right.
And the
we
drivers
did
of the
things
cars
that
weren't very happy about
No,
that either.
no.
Come
right,
on,
you can and you can
No
cause
rocks.
a
No, I
big
was just
accident doing that. But
come on, lighten the bag of dog poop on the front stoop there during Halloween, right?
Right.
I didn't do that either. So.
Okay,
I have to
maybe we were just bad kids.
It's
right?
taking services away from the police that could be doing something else, chasing these kids around doing stupid things. So, all right, that's it. We're done for today. Thank you very much. So, Rich Lane, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Have a good week.
And Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And,
Have a great weekend.
Bill Murray, thanks for coming
Always
in.
a pleasure.
All
Anytime.
right. My name is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great weekend, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember coming up next at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
A Providence man has been arrested in connection with a fatal hit and run in Dighton, Massachusetts.